2, 3, live. Greg?
Good night to the Belizean people at home and abroad. Again, tonight we bring to you the 41st edition of Belizean Affairs. Sitting with me virtually is my co-host, Mr. Rudy Wade and Mr. Leonard Brackett. With that said, tonight we go straight to Mr. Wade for his reading as we normally do. Mr. Wade.
Thank you, Greg, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company. Likewise, in the company of Leonard, it's an honor to to be sitting here virtually with you guys. Um, and like I always say, we bring truth to the nation, and we are the voice for the poor and less fortunate and the voiceless. And as always, we start our program with a reading, and I will continue with Jeremiah 30. I left off at 15, so I continue 16 to 25. Says, before all who devour you shall be devoured, and all your foes, every one of them, shall go into captivity. Those who plunder you shall be plundered, and all who prey on you I will make a prey. For I will restore health to you and your wounds. I will heal, declares the Lord, because they have called you an outcast. It is Zion, for whom no one cares. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will restore the fortune of the tent of Jacob and his companion on his dwellings. The city shall be rebuilt on its mound, and the palace shall stand where it used to be. Out of them shall come songs of thanksgiving and the voice of those who celebrate. I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will make them honored by all. Their children shall be as they were of old, and their congregation shall be established before me, and their prince shall be one of themselves. Their rulers shall come out from their midst. I will make him draw near, and I shall approach, and he shall approach me. For who should dare of himself to approach me, declares the Lord? And you shall be my people, and I will be your God. Behold, the storm of the Lord, wrath has gone forth, and whirling tempests. It will burst open the head of the wicked. The fear of the Lord will not turn back until he has executed and intentions of his mind. In the latter days, you will understand this. That's my reading for tonight. Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wade. Uh, it is a pleasure having the opportunity to sit again with you, Mr. Wade, and my cousin Greg, and to welcome you back, Mr. Wade, after missing you for a while. Well, it wasn't that long a while, but we did miss you indeed.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Thank you.
my name is Leonard Brackett. I'm one of the
Yes.
panelists on this particular show. or fun show.
Absolutely.
Well, at least I call it a fun show because I have fun doing what we're doing. And I am pleased because I know we're doing something that is benefiting our country and people. Even though there are skeptics who presume that, from their
Thank
vantage
you.
point, they're not able to perceive that level of outcome. We are sure that we are able to perceive that level of outcome. So we are grateful for the privilege
On that.
accorded and the opportunity to come to the people and for the people to spend their valuable time listening to what we have to contribute to the discussion on behalf of Belizeans Affair. And this is the show number 41, Monday, 18th of September, 2023. I'd like to offer a short prayer if you indulge me. Divine loving Father, as we come before thee again, we pray that thou mayest hear our supplications. Please continue to guide us, protect us, strengthen us, give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Help us that we may be able to impart truth to all those who hear our voices. We pray that thou mayest continue to bless our family members, friends, and loved ones, that thou would continue to bless our country of Belize, its people, and its leadership, and that thou would bless this country of the United States, its people, and its leadership, as well as the rest of humanity, especially those people who have need of food, clothes, shelter, who are suffering from hurricanes and earthquakes and other man-made disaster. Please be merciful unto us all, we pray. For we ask these mercies in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
I thank
Thank
you,
you
Mr. Brackett.
for that.
Good
You're
night to
welcome.
the people at home and abroad. As you well know, my name is Mr. Gregory Brackett, and tonight we want to deal with a lot of issue that is affecting Belize. But before I go to that, Mr. Wade, can you do your introductory speech, please? Mr. Wade, your introductory speech.
I'm not I'm not sure if it's hearing you, Greg. The-
Mr. Wade, your introductory speech. I think
I
is
don't think he's hearing you.
We're having
I don't.
a little back and forth, yeah, a little technical something going on. I don't know if the internet or what,
Okay, no problem. We understand the
we're
high
having
speed is
some
sometimes give that issue. Can you do your
interference. Yeah,
introductory speech?
yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Wade.
Your
Oh,
introductory
my.
speech,
Oh,
sir, please.
well, tonight, you know, tonight, we would like to. First of all, I want to give a special thank you to all our loyal supporters, both at home and abroad, people who contribute to our show in terms of sending a text or, calling us or giving us input. I want to, from the bottom of my heart and from my colleagues here, I want to give a special thank you and, continue to support us, and, like I said earlier, we always touch on issues that directly affect our Belizean people. You know, um, I I have always been a very passionate guy on our healthcare. Very I'm vocal on our healthcare situation in this country. Why I say this, because when I sit here with my virtual host here in the nights that we sit here, and I say things, is because 99% of the things that I say is things that I experience, from my own being and experience with involvement with family members and see the ills of our country, and I get to talk about it, right? Because it directly affects directly, and so passionate on her. I have always used to say that you don't hear much about COVID, right? First of all, I always say that COVID not gone nowhere. It's still there. Still the wrong.
It is.
Just because the system who should protect us are dormant in certain things that directly affect the poor and less fortunate in this country. And they put that in the back burner because there's a thing that they call greed, money, and hush hush. Because now they put away the name COVID, that disease, right? That very, very bad sickness that kills a lot away in the name of tourism, right? They put that away because if they keep talking about it, that is still there, tourists may go and they don't want to
Hesitation.
come. They were afraid for come, right? But like I say again, COVID is still here, so we must be very mindful, right? And I have always talked, well, we have always talked about the healthcare system in this country, right? Which is so, we are in 2023. In my personal view, 20 years ago was better, as the way it should be, worse, right? Worse in this country. People are dying because of
Greg,
basic
Greg,
necessity education,
Yes,
basic
I can hear you.
equipment
Mr. Weird.
that's not
Yes,
in
Mr.
the
Weird is
healthcare
okay. He's back.
system.
He's back. He was frozen just now.
So let's talk about that. That's what we're going to talk about. So, we are having, I'm sorry that we have been having, little technical difficulties, but, seems as that's the way of life, whether it's by intentional or maybe I can't say, right, why we're sometimes have technical. As I notice sometimes when we tackle some issues that really affects the system, they find a way. They find a way to discredit in any way, shape, or form. So, that's what I got to say there, Mr. Chairman.
You're frozen again, sir.
We will talk, like I say, we'll talk about the healthcare system on a daily basis in this country.
Well said, Mr. Wade. I believe that on many occasions on these virtual platforms, we spoke about the $90 million they were getting and why they didn't put it into the hospital that are already here and need to have upgrade. Because as I said before, a police officer just died from COVID, and I think that the government is in denial. And with that said, let me go to my cousin to hear from him.
Greg, I wanted us to
It's so
wait first
ironic
before I start
that
contribute. I wanted to hear a
all
little bit more of what you was,
three of us,
Greg.
and we are not in the
Yes,
same
go ahead.
location.
What
Lag
is
out,
it,
guys,
sir?
and Leonard, can you lag us back in?
Uh, we're the difficulties that we're having does not relate to us having to log in and log out. It's a temporary, off and on apparent issue, no? Because every once in a while you get frozen, but then you come back on without us having to do anything. So I guess we'll just have to manage through. It has to do something with the system itself. But Gregory was asking me to take up, and I was trying to defer back to you to hear more of what had happened immediately today. Since I
Okay,
was
I
kind of
thank
busy and I didn't
you.
have a chance to catch up on that.
Let me
I'd rather
let me
piggyback on you guys.
let me rephrase for you.
Yes, sir.
I think that COVID-19 is on the rise again in Belize.
Go ahead. I'll put him back on when he shows up. He logs out. He logged. I think he went ahead and logged up. Go ahead, Greg.
And what happened, I think, is if you're trying to get your economy to boost, especially with tourism, I'm
Hmm.
sure you can hear from where you are how the United States government is in depth on COVID-19 and how at this time they are trying to give a fourth vaccine.
Hmm.
I have seen the vaccine being presented in Belize, and I know for a fact it had to do with the rising of COVID. But when I say I believe the government is in denial, that is because if a police officer did not die from the virus, we would not have known what is really going on within the medical department of the hospital. And it comes back to what we have been preaching on these platforms nights after nights when we are up there asking the government to deal with the emergencies in which the hospital needs medication, the hospital needs the right equipment, and of- as of today, they are still unable to perform because these things are not being taken care of. And to me, it looks horrible on the government when you have to be moving people around and still can't get the job done. So let me hear what you have to say on that.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for bringing up the topic because it's a topic that is dear to me, and I keep on beating on it, hoping that somehow someone within the structure of the government or governance um, machinery would pay attention to some of what we're saying and have some kind of a heart or goodwill or better mindset and make the necessary sacrifice to try and improve the situation. But unfortunately, all they keep doing is proving me correct when I keep repeating myself at ad nauseum by saying it appears that the present government has no interest or concern for good governance or the well-being and health of our society because they're not governing as if they were. We, as advocates, shouldn't have to be telling them what they need to be doing. That's the prerogative of governance. But that doesn't mean that we will stop telling them what we have to be telling them. We will tell them a million times if we have to. Because at the end of the day, while they may think that they can afford to drop the ball, as advocates, we cannot cease and desist. Or maybe they think that by not paying attention to what we're saying, maybe we'll stop saying it. No. As far as I'm concerned, on a personal level, like I said, to me, this is a personal matter. If our government is unwilling, unable, or disinterested in taking care of our affairs, step the hell away from the structure of the powers of governance, put new people in those departments, or do what needs to be done, but you have to govern. You can't just wait for run the time out and then come back later on and ask for another period of time to continue mismanagement and not governing adequately. It is not about running the clock. It's about getting the effort completed. It's about getting the services rendered to the society or the community. It's about doing whatever needs to be done. When they want to find money or go get loans or whatever, then go to the house, they appropriate funds, or they will issue one loan motion or some kind of structure. Then find a way to do when they want, do when they want, get the money. Okay, sorry, Mr. Wade is there. I was just paying attention. Yes, sir. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Mr. Wade. Yeah.
We
When
having some
uh,
problems, but seems that we fixed it now.
okay, sir. So as I was saying, I will not cease and desist calling them out or complaining about these shortcomings. And if I have to embarrass them, I will. Because it's not like I can make the difference by just talking and then things will happen or the difference will occur. We talk about these things because we see that they are not following through and doing what they need to do. So we bring it up to their attention and hopefully try to get their attention. Even though they may not give us their attention or pay heed to anything that we are saying, because of course they don't have to. They're the governance structure. They have control of the governance structure. But they're in that position because they're supposed to be governing, not running around drinking liquor with bodies and trying to cut deals behind the scene to make extra money on the side or to facilitate them bodies and then mismanage or neglect the affairs of the country while still holding down the powers of governance. As a minimum, if they continue doing any kind of shenanigans there, do a little bit more of the public work or a little bit more of the people's business. But you can't just stop doing the people's business to the exclusion of taking care of the big financiers, them who have some ready-made money where you could tap into. Belize as a country belong to all of us. We entrust you guys with the powers of governance because when you come to us and pretend to be honest brokers, and when you come and tell you that we want to try to do better than the previous people. But we were stupid enough to believe, realizing that we done had one time before when we did the same thing one who did before. Only that no one learned so much from one who did before that no one will do it worse. And because we have the impression that we have to and should stay in a government for a full term and not be bothered, it means then that we have to just stomach one of dish out and how to mistreat we and how people have to suffer while you guys they enjoy on a fine time. As of right now, the Prime Minister is again out of the country. I don't have a problem with them having to go to the country. I have a problem with them not doing the job, whether they're in or out of the country. Because you could be any part of the world and you could still function or help the government to function. So there is no excuse for them falling short or not paying attention to these things. It's not like we physically, as advocates, can then get up and go and make the difference by physically do the job for them. We're not empowered with that level of authority. But we are empowered with the right to speak. And even if we have to speak truth to power, And even if they feel like we try malign there, or if they think that okay, well maybe we said thing about them when I go so, and therefore we liable then. If they feel that way, carry me the court, like I always say. I'll be the first one to show up the court, to put
Amen
out
to that.
in court and in the public the facts that they constantly are trying to hide and keep away from the public. Because once it goes through the court, it is then public information. So all these shenanigans when they go on with the rape and pillage the country's assets and facilitate only certain people needs to stop. How we can get it to stop? That's another issue. But it needs to stop. I have a little bit more that I would like to say, but for right now, I think I need to yield the time to the chairman for some other point of order. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for granting me the opportunity to have something to say in regards to this matter. Because, like I said, it's a personal issue for me. I resent the fact that
I
these
thank
guys are not doing better.
I thank you for your comment, as well as you, Mr. Wade. But again, we're dealing with a government that cannot take care of its external policies as well as its internal policies. Whenever a government has to be shifting around ministers and taking away their portfolio, it means they are having issue. And also externally,
Scoundrels.
you know, the only external policies that the present government can deal with has to do with agreements that have been made with foreign investors. And I can go on to say more, but also, if you are saying that you are getting a loan, $90 million to put into hospital, why didn't you upgrade? Because you know what? COVID will not go away. And I would hate to see them using arbitrarily and capricious SI to put the country into a state of emergency under the color law as they did before. Because if the government come to the populace in honesty and say, look, you know what? I think COVID is on the rise, so it's not a compulsory, but we are asking you, the citizen, to try to protect yourself, wear your masks again, etc. But why wait until it's out of hand? Then you want to come with these bogus aside because you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to close down the economy.
Mm-hmm.
That is uncalled for. And with that said, gentlemen, Mr. Weir, I go to you for a last comment on that.
Thank you, guys. You know, we have talked about this issue on several occasions, and I noticed that right after we talk about these issues, some negotiator on behalf of the government would come and say, well, we will do this for the northern regional, and we do this for the southern regional, and we do this for the western regional, and this we do for Karl Hushner. All baloney, all a mouthful of hot air, right? This kind of action, but you guys got to stop, right? The talk is so beautiful after, and we will continue to do this, we will continue to call these people out because One, I say that, you know, we advocate for our people, right? And we love our country, right? And we see these things as wrong what you guys are doing. But no one else calls you out. No one else, right? But we will continue because we are speaking truth, right? All this venom that comes out of our mouth that we want to do for the healthcare system, and we not upgrade not an inch yet, right? Just talking a whole bunch of hot air. People are catching on to ills. Need to stop. People want to see action. People are tired of the venom that comes out of our mouth. What do we do? What do we do with the money? Right? We don't know damn well what we do with the money. Right? But we keep lying to the people. Like the president of Salvador, I admire that gentleman. He says if you not thief the money, good things could happen to a nation. Right? He's so right on that. Because you guys have been stealing the money for the past decade. That's why we have nothing. Right? Nothing. All that happens that you, Mr. Politician, get richer. Mr. Politician and the family get richer. And the same cronies get to reap the sweet all the time from the UDP government, same crap. The PUP government, same crap. When you're in power, there's only certain sector of this society get good medication, get good health, get care, everything, right? And the other sector of this society, we not support we not think not support punish. Because right now the UDP they punish because the PUP ones they know them, they not support them, they not give them what they just do. Same crap with the United Democratic Party. When they are in power, only their very own and the close people that surrounds them, surrounds all the crooks. They are the ones that benefit. And don't tell me no because it's truth. And don't say Mr. Wade the talk where you know about. Tell me the quote if you think I'm talking that why I don't know about, right? These crap need to stop because we all pay taxes, right? And we pay taxes because we want a better healthcare system, right? And all the grants that goes to the hospital, we don't need to put it where it should be put. All the money that approved for the healthcare system, use it the right way and stop steal it and divert it where it ought not to go. Need to stop that. Because you have smart people watching what they do. Know what they do. Right? While you have a society that they punish, right? And as you say, Mr. Chairman, that $90 million, we yet to see this hospital that this man talking about here. We yet to see it. Same as the man say for the Bolido lovers. You know how much months ago he said the Bolido will become. He even have some poor people, they venom his commercial. Oh yes, we missed the Bolido one. You see how he uses people? They use those Bolido lovers don't get it yet. Don't get it. But this man out of his very own mouth, spit it out. He come. I just a reminder, right? Here they come again, yes for sure. Same as the UDP. Then they come, right? Well, I will not stop calling him out because I'm a taxpayer, I'm a Belizean, and I have the God-given right to speak my mind.
Amen.
Right. So that's what I got to say on that, and they need to stop lying to the Belizean people.
I thank you, Mr. Wade. I thank you for your comment, Mr. Wade, but the things that we're speaking about is to show how our government is failing. The Prime Minister is not doing what he's supposed to do. And I
Mhm.
mentioned the three things on every platform. The first one is protect its territory. The second one, national security. The third, bring about peace in the community and creating jobs for the people. None is happening. Let's change this topic. I will go to a short video clip and then we will come back.
No, I think the Carnival Road March is here to stay, but certainly I think we have to review and reevaluate the way we do it. You know, this year there were some complications because the Ministry of Infrastructure had advised that they couldn't use the Belcan Bridge, right?
Every Belizean should be allowed the right to go to any part of this country. And so let's start by that. This is something that I think the territorial volunteers have been doing for some years now, and each time they go there, we have some kind of encounter, some kind of run-in with the Guatemalan authorities. I was pleased to read on Channel 5 News that what the Guatemalans allowed them to go on the island to do what they did, to do their thing, to sing the national anthem, and later they collected the flags and returned it back to us. Whether a protest note was delivered to the Guatemalans by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I'm not aware. I can try to find out and get back to you. I can ask Minister Courtney or COMI. But I felt that they were given the opportunity to exercise their right to go out there and demonstrate their patriotism in their way without having any serious encounters with the Guatemalans. But this is why we need to put an end to this problem. This is why we need to get this decision from the ICJ so that we can have all our borders clearly defined by the international community so that nobody can dispute, no country, no person can dispute this, and we can fix this and move on with our lives living side by side with our neighbor.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
gentlemen,
The
you
level
have
of
heard the
ignorance.
clip.
The level of
Do
ignorance.
will you agree with me that this gentleman is uneducated to be an ambassador, not to know what is the constitutional right of the people of Belize when it comes to travel on your territory? No. Now that I've shown you guys the clip, right? And you heard him say
Oh,
that
man.
the BTV personnel should be lucky that the Guatemalans
Allow
allowed
them.
them. Imagine we were
Oh,
allowed.
man.
The past and the present government. I know that some people can recall the side that was passed by the Barrow regime
Mhm.
that stopped
Bogus.
the people from going to the Sarastone. Now,
Bogus
Mr. Wade,
society.
let me go to you first. What's your take on that?
My brother, and
Uh,
my colleagues, and my people, both at home and abroad, I'm a true patriot. I'm a true Belizean.
Amen.
I don't know why that guy would utter such a stupidity. In my personal view, he has no knowledge what the hell he's talking about. He has no patriotism. He shows no love for this country. He's uttering no love at all. First of all, the words that comes out of his mouth really offends me. As a former member of the police special force who had traversed that in the past, member of the Belize Defense Force who had traversed that area several times, right? Had never had issues But like I say again, but of lately, because of the leadership that we has, right? One is that none of them seems to have any love for, in my personal view, love for this country. They're only there to collect a paycheck and sits on a title.
Hustlers.
Sits on a, because I'm the general of the BDF, or I am the Minister of National Security, or I am the Prime Minister. That title with no backing to it. No backing at all. Right? You know, really offends me, right? That a man could utter that they must lucky that, you know, and is thankful that, you know, command that they are allowed the
On our own territory.
right? First of, you know, and as far as the world ambassadors, Mr. Chairman and Leonard, you know, I don't know where these people come, what level of intellect they have. For me, I think based on what I know and I see, all of them past are just cronies of either a UDP governing party or a PUP governing party with no kind of backative on the post that they sit. They are just there to service whoever put them there and to venom the things that the person who put them there want to hear. Now, as far as the minister responsible, right? He's doing a very poor job, right, in making the right decision and the best decision for Belize, right? He's just kicking the ball down the road, waiting for the ICJ because they are all in cahoot, right? Like I say, whatever the ruling is, they could give a hoot. They have enough money. They could travel any way they want to go, any part of the world they want to go. That if, you know, they don't pass UNCAC and some of them go to jail, but they would never do that.
Preferably.
Exactly, right? So, what you think they will do? They could give a hoot, right? Who left the sufferers? Like I always say, who you think when suffer, man? Right? The poor and less fortunate, the poor people of this nation who no got no money and who can't afford to do the things they want to do and how they want to do it, right? Or leave this country, right? But these guys, they don't have no love for country. They say they do, but the venom that comes out of their mouth, each one of them, they're all liars, right? Just to get by for that day and utter the stupidity and think that everybody grabs it, right? That guy, like I say, that clip you played doesn't residue with me, right? And this is not the first time, Mr. Chairman and Gregory, that and Leonard, that the Guatemalan exhibit that kind of behavior. And like I say again, it's not going to be the last time. The last government told the Belize territorial volunteer, whenever you want to go that way, you got to send me a letter, right? They passed that in the house. They say, yeah, well, this is what we are saying now. After that, he says, whenever that group want to go, they need to apply for a permit, right? You know, that is stupidity on the level of not a patriot of this country. Behave, right? Same now, right? Because they'll soon put some restriction on that on that entity again. Then soon, and you see what that attorney Audrey Matura, what she posted up publicly and what she would like or have done to their flag, and you see what the Minister of Education says, that she shouldn't have done that. That's really not nice. That's not cool, right? You know. So you see the road these people are going, right? And who they are in support.
Facilitators.
There you go, right? But this whole thing, Mr. Chairman, really stinks, man. It really stinks, and we really need some leaders some leaders in this country that has our country at heart and has our history at heart and have our people at heart. Until then,
Amen.
we are doomed.
I
That's what
thank
I
you
got to
for your
say.
comment, Mr. Wade. You brought up a segment just now about the Minister of Education. Are we quite aware that he had said that they are not afraid of Guatemala? They're not afraid, right? And I had said, why don't he tell it to the Foreign Minister? No, Mr. Brackett. Before I go to you and get that comment upon what was
Man.
just played, I will play another video so you can go overall because I want the people at home and abroad to see the internal forces that we are dealing with and how it is really getting out of hand.
Thank you.
It was brought to me and it's been placed at my as part of my mandate as being president of the union. I must address whatever the membership has, and they had taken that position, so I must stand firm with them that we will not participate in the parade tomorrow because it coincides with the same day as Guatemala's Independence Day celebration, and our celebration is on the 21st, which is next Thursday. And I believe as schools, to be more patriotic, we need to celebrate our independence that is close to us, which is September 28th, as we have always done in the past years.
What's the feedback like from your other union members?
The other union members in our Benqueviejo branch, or you talk about nationwide?
In your Benqueviejo branch, do they also feel that this is conflicting for them given Guatemala's Independence Day falls on the 15th?
Well, it's their view. It is the reason why we chose that because it's they voted for that to not parade tomorrow. It's all of them, all teachers from Benqueviejo branch have voted to not participate in that parade tomorrow.
So you guys will follow through with the parade next week?
If we are given an option, but as is tomorrow, we are not going to participate in the parade.
Have you written back to the district education officer and expressed this as well?
We have sent a letter to the district education officer, and we have gotten a response from them, which they will continue as is planned with their parade.
And you guys have decided not to participate?
Yes, we have decided not to participate.
Do you feel that there will be consequences to this?
I believe the members of the union have taken that into account already, but as is, we need to stand strong as a union and as patriotic citizens to uphold, establish that we believe in independence, and that is what the Honorable Judge Price fought for.
It's very regrettable. It's disappointing. I understand the BNTU executive that made this decision was just sworn in yesterday. These are people who have worked to undermine the outgoing president. I view it as mischief, political mischief. I won't mince words. It's political mischief. One of the key activists in the BNTU working on this matter is her husband is running for mayor for the UDP. So I don't want to mince words. I'm not. They have every right to do what they want, but I want the Belizean people to understand what is happening. We are Belizeans, and we are not afraid of anybody else, and we're not worried about Guatemala's Independence Day. So I think it's wrong-headed. It's, in my view, a very irresponsible decision, and they have absolutely no authority to send out any release to the schools in that community saying that they are going to do what they want to do. There will be consequences for that.
Wow.
Now, Mr. Brackett,
Yes, sir.
I would like to hear your comment as you
Uh,
heard what was said.
I would like to address both clips that you played. I'd like to address first the one that you played first, since I can adjust that with just a few words, and then I want to come back to the one that the so-called education, or more properly or aptly stated, the so-called miseducation of minister. I want to deal with him substantively, if you allow me to. So, if you don't mind, can I just address quickly the previous clips? The first clip?
Go
May I?
ahead, so you can put them both in one another.
No,
Let's
no, no,
hear
no,
what you have
no,
to
no, no,
say.
because that's why I'm asking for to deal with them separately, because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I,
He said Leonard. Go ahead. Yeah.
I have reasons and motives.
We said go ahead, Leonard.
Thank you. In the first instance, the gentleman that spoke before as an ambassador, in that case, was totally out of his whackers, and as an ambassador representing our country, he's a poor excuse for an ambassador in the first place. Did he not heard the tape that all of us heard before he opened up his damn mouth and talked stupidness to the rest of us on TV? He had enough time between the time when that tape of the Guatemalans harassing for we people came out and after when he decided to open for him out. So he wouldn't have had to make stupid statement that doesn't comport with the facts, as we all saw them with our own eyes and heard with our own ears from the TV itself. Why would this guy say that in the first place the Guatemalans allow us, when he had just previously stated that all Belizeans according to the Constitution, and as per his expression, apparently speaking on behalf of the government, stipulate that any of us could go any part of the country, not south, east or west, according to our own desires, which is what the Constitution says. So why didn't he stick with that and follow through and contain his expressions to that fact, that constitutional established fact? Why did he have to go on to make one idiot out of himself to try and tell us that we were allowed by who? The government? God, the last time the UDP government never allowed them guys to go and protest, they stopped them at the wharf, right? Of course, they did get the gun. And they themselves, the PUP, they get the gun to try and embarrass the present UDP government of the day at that time.
They were
And
the
that when they got
opposition
into
then.
power, when they got into power, that they was going to do better. And within 100 days, according to the foreign minister, the unelected foreign minister, Mr. Eamon Courtney, who became foreign minister by virtue of being appointed as a senator, and who was made also the lead of government business in the Senate. So the man is so powerful and has so much portfolio, more than the people that were actually get elected. For him to come and talk craziness that we government is doing what they need to be doing, but they don't have to tell us what is happening because they, as the government, is taking care of business by being secretive and keeping things on the wrap. And then the Guatemalan guy in the boat is going to tell we people that they need to leave from half of Guatemalan territory because even the BDF don't go there anymore. Why? The government had ceded that area to the Guatemalan authority. That's what the Guatemalan soldier was trying to intimate. Now we know that those aren't the real facts, but the Guatemalan soldier, was banking on that fact that the BDF does not show up there as often as they should or would or could. And for that reason, he is trying to intimidate the people and telling them, if no BDF don't show up, why are you guys even trying to attempt to come here? When in fact, we don't have no power and authority to exercise any right over Guatemalan territory that they consider has been seized to them. And then for we government and turn around and say, they haven't ceded anything to nobody. Fui Bongji is still the same, and we have full control over Fui territory, while a foreign neighbor country military is exercising prerogatives that we, the citizens and the government or the military of Fui country, are not allowed to exercise over we own territory. But I don't want, there's so much craziness where the gentleman said that didn't comport with the facts. But in the interest of time, I want to go and deal with the Minister of Education. Okay? And I want to read something here, if you allow me, Mr. Chairman. The following commentary texts, which was more than one, many, were made between Leonard Brackett and Will Flores, Andre Rivero, as part of a thread on a Belize Elementary School parade Facebook post about Belizean school children parading on Guatemala's Independence Day, being 15th of September 2023. Instead of parading on Belize Independence Day, which is the 21st of September, or on the 10th of September, Belize's most long-lasting patriotic day, or Independence Day from Spain, or triumph at the Battle of St. George's Key. The kids would have been much better served had they been allowed to parade on the 10th, which has always been one of our most patriotic celebrated day. But they don't want no celebration on the 10th. They want to eviscerate the 10th, because that is the basis on which we lay claim to them having the opportunity now, by having had a 10th for all these hundreds of years, 225 years to be exact, since we fought the Spaniards, chased them off, and they never returned to try and lay any further claims. 225 years. Now these knuckleheads are trying to dispossess our children of the rightful privilege to celebrate that victory of ours, for which they now have the privilege to have a 10th of September celebration, 21st of September celebration as Independence Day, which would not have happened but for the 10th of September 1798. Which one came first, independence or 10th of September 1798? It's a redundant and almost silly question, because we all know that we just got independence 40 years ago, when in fact we won our legal independence right to that territory 225 years ago. I just want to continue reading this stuff here, please. Celebrating Independence Day is the title of this article. Celebrating Independence Day of Belize on Guatemalans' Independence Day. The Guatemalans being our mortal enemy, claiming our territory. The first text that I referred to in this group was written by one gentleman, Mr. Will Flores, and he went on to say, "You could celebrate Belize anytime you want, even on September 15th. This has nothing to do with Guatemala." I don't know how he arrived at that conclusion from what we were discussing about celebrating our Independence Day parade with the children them to commemorate our independence on Guatemala's Independence Day. I don't understand what part of that he didn't get. So I dared to retort back to him my reply or comment to his comment. Item number 2, I said, "Mr. Will Flores, then celebrate on the 21st of September then, which is Belize Independence Day. If we can celebrate any day or celebrate Belize any day, celebrate it on its correct date. Let the kids they go out and enjoy a parade and be able to remember that all the rest of their life that they were able to participate in on the Independence Day parade, rather than, or let them go and do it on the 10th, but not on the 15th. For no reason at all that should have happened, especially under the present circumstance. I said, Mr. Will Flores, then celebrate on the 21st of September, which is Belize Independence Day, instead of on the 15th of September, which is Guatemala's independence. Fifth columnist, pro-Guatemalan, facilitators, and traitors. Guatemalans do not celebrate their independence on the 21st of September, which is Belize Independence Day, from the British on the 21st of September 1981 AD, which is some 42 years ago. I went on to say also, the Guatemalans do not celebrate their Independence Day on the 10th of September, British Honduras colonies' Independence Day from Spain on the 10th of September of 1798 AD, some 225 years ago. I went on to say as well, they, referring to the people who decided when our Independence Day was going to be celebrated, or when the kids were going to get to march. I said, they could have just called it the march or parade as being Mr. George Price's birthday parade on the 15th of September. But they would not desecrate or dishonor his legacy or memory with a pro-Guatemalan activity. I went on to say as well, before choosing celebrating Belize Independence Day as 21st of September 1981, Belize's greatest national significant celebratory day was the 10th of September celebration, or the centenary, as we used to call it. In commemorating our liberation Independence Day from Spain on the 10th of September of 1798, which was the end to the Battle of St. George's Key, after which Spain did not return to make any further claims to Honduras be a settlement/colony. I went on to also stipulate Belizean patriotism, long standing at that, was thrown aside when they snubbed the 10th of September to not be Belize Independence Day, but instead chose or selected the 21st of September as a coded hat tipping to Guatemala's independence commemorative salute, being on the 15th of September of 1821. According to numerology, please pay attention to this little part here, because this might be the first time you have heard this or will hear this, but hopefully it will not be the last time you will hear it. So I'm just calling people's attention to this. Numerological translations logic could be that from the 1821 date of Guatemala's independence or declared independence, if you take the 1 plus the 8, you come up with 9, which is the 9th month of the year, being September, the very same month that they choose to celebrate our independence. And if you take the 21, which is the 1821, if you take the last 2 digits, 21, that constitutes the 21st day of the said month, which is September 21st. That's how come they came up with September 21st as being the date that they wanted to have Belize declared its independence. Most people cannot come up with any other reason as to why that date was chosen. It was never a historic or important date in the history of our country. It had no significance whatsoever until it was chosen, and then had a significance in the sense that it then became our Independence Day, therefore becoming a significant day in our country, overriding even the 10th of September and Baron Bliss Day, and all other possible day, such as the 1st of June, when they had the declaration to fight for Belize, or any other day or date historically that relates to Belize as a country, or its former self as a colony, or before the colony as a settlement. There was no date of significance that these knuckleheads could have come up with that had a justifiable reason for Belizeans to be proud about. And for them to have chosen what then at the time, and to most people even up to today date, would appear to be a valid day, and now established as an important day, with us having had our independence declared on that day, the 21st of September. Which is why I went into what you call numerology and explained what Mr. Price, as a former Jesuit student and someone who was very, very educated, and who bequeathed to Belize the date for its independence without explaining to Belizeans what that date signified, what it meant, or what was the reason why the 10th or any other date that relates to the history of Belize, that this 21st of September would have trumped all of those other possible dates and become now the most important date in our national paradigm. I'll go on to reread that part again because I want it to sink in. The Guatemalan independence commemorative salute, being the 15th of September of 1821, according to numerology, translation logic, 8 plus 1 is 9, which becomes then the 9th month. And the 21 for the 1821 Guatemalan Declaration of Independence is the 21st of September of 1981, which they chose as the Independence Day for Belize. That was actually what I called it a coded hat tipping. You know, like when you tip a hat, to somebody, like the elites or the rich or famous or powerful people. They always, sometimes they shake hand, sometimes they tip a hat, This was a tipping of the hat to Guatemala in recognition of Guatemala's Independence Declaration Day, 1821. That's what the 21 signifies. The 21st of the 8 plus 1, 9, 9th month, the 21st of the 9th month. I challenge anybody else alive today, since Mr. Price dead and gone and took it with him, to come up with a valid proof to prove otherwise. Then being deciphered or resulting in 1821 AD, which is the same as the year of Guatemala's declared independence. And it was not intended to be deciphered or to be discovered. But here we are today. I'm explaining it to you. That's how they came about with it.
I thank you. I thank you for your reading and your comment.
Greg, that was the end of a part of it, but that wasn't the end of what I was trying to present. If you do, we have any time left? Can you give me 5 more minutes? Could you give me 5 more minutes?
We have some time.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you the 5 to
yes, sir.
that. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless Belize and Belizeans at home and abroad, is what I said in that statement. But the third item on this list was one from a gentleman by the name of Mr. J. Rivero, which he addressed to me, and I would like to be able to read it. He said, 100% I agree. I just need to point this out. How ironic that the Philip Golson Monument was desecrated on the 9th before the 10th of September celebration, making or marking 225 years of history. It's no accident that that happened. Then they will have the grand rally celebrating our independence using the children, who is our future, on Guatemalans' Independence Day. Whether this was a ploy by the powers at B to distract us from the high cost of living and hard times, triple that, meaning that he wanted to say more, but he discontinued that thought, and he went on to say, in addition, or just their usual tactics to keep us divided. I want them to know that history will not judge them kindly, because this was shameful and outright disrespectful to all Belizeans. We need to definitely call them out and don't let them whitewash this treasonous behavior. Then there was an item number 4, again by the same gentleman, Mr. J. Rivero, which was addressed to the previous person, Mr. Will Flowers. He went on to say, Will Flowers, no, sir, I agree to disagree with you. We cannot continue being nonchalant about our country's independence and the September celebration, while in some people's hearts, having a children rally on the 15th might be just another day. The perception is given to Guatemala and Guatemalans is different, sir. If we left this unchecked, I can see them saying or thinking, we are celebrating their independence in some way. We should not have any activity on September 15th in the future. Lastly, he went on to say, just look on how the 10th of September celebration was poorly attended. I don't hear or see no one advocating for Belize to participate proudly in that day's celebration. Without the 10th of September, there would not be no 21st Independence Day for Belizeans. I'm just disappointed in the nonchalant behavior of our government officials and all Belizeans that did not see the need to go out and line the streets on the 10th. That's the end of what he said there. Ms. Floritil went on to make a small comment by saying she was one of the person that graced our program before. I just want to read a little comment that she made. She said, "It is her name is Floritil, Ms. Floritil. It is evident that the individuals in question are displaying a more audacious disposition. The only remaining course of action is for the Prime Minister to authorize the opening of the gates and grant permission to the Guatemalans to enter and act as they see fit. Is it possible that this represents a deliberate effort by the man to prioritize individuals from his own ethnic group? And if so, what implications does this have for Belizeans of different ethnic backgrounds in this country? It went on for a little bit more, but that's the end of that for right now. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the opportunity to take up that much of the time. But I just wanted to put that information on record and for people to be able to hear what is being put out on this particular show tonight, and hopefully they'll go back and listen to it again and digest it better. Thank you, sir.
I thank you for your reading. I thank you for your reading. I thank you, Mr. Wade, also for your comment on it. But now let me fit you guys in with what is happening. I've said it before on many occasions, and I will say it again. We are being attacked. Our constitution is under attack. Our history is under attack. And we can see what is happening. I will point it out to you. I will specify to you what is happening when it comes to the government. Let's start with Good Friday. The government amended the liquor law, took away from a tradition and culture, and allow alcohol to be sold on Good Friday. Then we had the school parade. The government had the children parade on the 15th that is in line with the Guatemalan independence, but they knew exactly what they were doing, as well as with the 10th. They knew that the 10th of September could have been held on the Monday, but they wanted to show power by separating state and church. And they were getting back at the church because of what?
The Senate.
The Senate inquiry. So people at home and abroad,
pay attention.
Look and see what is happening and pay attention. No, I've mentioned that the government of Belize is not taking care of external affairs. I'll prove it to you. The number one thing, the base at the Sarah Stone. You want to tell me, with all those loans that the government has went to the house for, they could not get one to rebuild the base at the Sarah Stone, which is a part of our defense with a foreign entity, and I will show it likewise internally. With all the loans the government went to the house for, they could not get one to do the Supreme Court adequately and revive the judicial system. That monies had to be donated from Social Security Board, that is a private sector with private citizen money, donated to them to help the Supreme Court. Internal, external. And I will say this, because it's not a coincidence, it's also an attack on the historical events that took part over the years, because the government is playing politics not only with our country, with the separation of powers, but also with our history. You know why they did that? Because they want to take the 21st, knowing that municipal elections will be coming, and they want to come out in masses to show that they are ready and they are governing the right way. And this will be proven. They want to come with a bigger parade than the thing. They are trying to do away with history. They are looking to separate state and church, while they are not trying to deal with external and internal affairs. No, people at home and abroad, the citizens of Belize have been asking what happened to the foreign minister and the Guatemala crisis. He's unheard. What happened to the 100 days that they got up and said after they visit the Sarastone, which is ludicrous and crazy. I will tell you what happened. It is not important to him, the foreign minister, because guess what? The foreign minister is more busy than stopping the individual from Haiti and Jamaica going to the United States than stopping Guatemala coming into our territory. Now imagine, you are stopping individuals, including Belizean, from going to the United States, but you can't stop the Guatemalans from penetrating your territory. Now imagine.
Serving foreign
Not
influence.
only that, not only that, I said it before, their concern is not one of national security and internal policy. Because you know the economical structure of this country, you know what the unemployment rate is when you get up there and you throw a bogus figure, then now you are taking in illegal immigrants
Not,
by
Mr. Chairman,
collecting
Mr.
funds.
Chairman, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman, he's not just taking in, he's trafficking. Use the correct
yes, he
word.
is. Yes, he
Trafficking.
is.
He's
It's called
facilitating trafficking.
legalized
Bunch of mad
trafficking.
thugs.
You know, so these are the things that we are dealing with. We're dealing with past and present government who is working with inside against its own people with the things they do. You know, and as I said, we the Belizean people must watch what is happening because there's more to it than that. There's much more to it than that with the madness. Here you have a minister of education jumping up. We're not afraid of Guatemala. You was on the boat with your foreign minister. Why don't you pick up the phone and call him and say, Mr.
Exactly.
Courtney, what is happening? Everybody is silent. They are not silent when they get on the news and on social media. And we have to do better because Haitians are coming here and they are leaving, and the Americans is calling us and telling us about all these people coming through the back, including Jamaicans. And then you want to go further than that. You want to call the Taiwanese people and ask them to send the Belizean back home that goes there to study. You are patrolling every other places to try to keep the Belizean people who has
Down.
a constitutional right to travel wherever they want to. When Belizean students or citizens go to study in Taiwan, if they meet a fiance and want to get married, what is wrong with that? You have an issue with that. Come on, you need to wake up. When any student get a scholarship, if it's not a government funded one, you have no say in that. If those students don't want to come back here to a country with no jobs where past and present government has not created. No, you are trying to use the transparent BPOs as jobs. You just mentioned they have 8,000 employees, but not created by you, those jobs. I would hope any one of them can get up and say, these are the long-term jobs that we have created. Not one, not blue, not red can do that. But yet you want to get up there with ludicrous statements and preaching about education, when there is no light at the end of the tunnel. That is why so much educated Belizean is living abroad, because you cannot create the jobs for them. You know?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can I add something about the education minister?
Yes, go
Why
right
is he
ahead
so,
from there.
why is he so down fiercely can get on TV and try to stipulate venomously, hatefully to our teachers who are looking out for the interests of our children and our country, that he is going to stipulate that there's going to be consequences. In other words, because the teachers, they exercise their right to not want to be any Guatemalan supporters or supporting anything that has to do with our mortal enemy Guatemala, and objecting to have the kids then parade on Guatemala's Independence Day, that's an affront to him. How he asked God Guatemala will live if that's an affront to him? If he can't get, what is it, as an education minister, that the people are trying to tell him and his government? Guatemala not rejecting or turning them out. Step across the border and stay and ask over there. Instead of being over here to subvert for we governance powers that we entrusted to them. Stop playing the fool. Because I think they have we powers and they can do what they want with it. Oh, that's that. He take that back and stop the threatening, because that is the same reason why Mr. Musa gave us in trouble the last time. Mr. Musa not dead yet. They need to go consult to that man. I keep telling them over and over, more than one time or two times before. Consult with that man before he die and let that man educate them what they don't know about or what they need to know about, before they will make the mistake or cause themselves problems and other people problems. Because they will not subordinate for we country's power willfully, disrespectfully, and with any dismissiveness and disregard. They will be held to pay. Every time they think about going down that road, then they think about consequences that they will have to suffer as a consequence of their mismanagement of we prerogative. And somehow they are not getting the message. They want to cross that bridge before they find out what the hell is on the other side of that bridge. Consult their own people who have the knowledge about the facts, and they will avoid making unnecessary mistakes. I have been around long enough to know what I'm talking about and trying to tell them. But they don't have to listen to me, but listen to other people in their one camp where could tell them where to try to explain to them, but they don't want to hear or listen to. Because they will have consequences to their behavior. When in fact, then they utter the talk craziness and they try to pretend that there will be consequences because they have the government levers in their hands, and therefore they want to try to find a way to penalize these teachers, either with their salary or with their profession or with whatever. If they can run the country adequately and do it in a decent, honorable way, like I said before, haul their ass and get out of the way. Because when they talk about checking consequences, then they ask the consequences to themselves. Thank you very much,
Mr. Brackett. Well said. Mr. Wade, I will come to you, and as a part of coming to you, let me say this. Mr. Brackett.
Yes, sir.
We are still waiting for the 100 days to take effect. Likewise, I'm still waiting for the Minister of Education to tell me of any university or institute that certifies any doctor, professor into the human mind that can give expert testimony that a man is being reformed, as in the case of Mr. Khan. Because according to a commissioner of police, all Belizean gangbangers cannot be reformed. So I want to hear, yes.
Chairman, I know we run out of time, no? I might have to take another few minutes beyond the time. But, sir, Isn't it true that they, the PUP party, as a bunch or as a cabal, have not reformed? Didn't they came in asking us, the people of the country, to give them a chance to constitute the new government, which they currently are? When the UDP was in power, they asked us to give them the chance because they were changed. Did they change? The first day they took power, some of their own top leaders was complaining about bringing back the same kleptocratism that they had in the party before. And they turned around and said, no, we weren't bringing them back. Somebody else is making a mistake or somebody is lying. We are here today having this discussion. Did they ever change? But they won't tell us, as you were saying just now, they're telling us, as Mr. Eamon Courtney himself, that these people told him that this man is reformed. How come this man is reformed, but they are not reformed? Was this man supposed to have been any better than they were? In other words, is the point that I'm trying to bring to your attention and the public's attention. They have not reformed. So they are even worse than the damn terrorists themselves then, which is my contention.
Mr. Brackett,
they're indeed worse than the terrorists because of how they're
Mr.
treated.
Brackett, I heard you. That's why I posed the question and I challenge anyone from the ministers of education world. Experts has performed tests on him and said he was reformed. I
We'll
want
go
to
to
know
35.
anywhere in the world.
Mr. Chairman,
Anywhere in the world. Is
we'll
there
go to 35,
anywhere
sir.
in the world? Yes.
And
Is
that was
there anywhere in the
my ending.
world?
I don't think I want to comment
Right.
anymore. I'm too
Is there
flustered right
anywhere
now.
in the world that they certify any doctor, any professor in the human mind? Mr. Weird, let me hear from you. The floor is yours, sir.
Gentlemen, I listen attentively, it's plain to be seen, and even some of our supporters already catch on to see what's going on, no? And they have voiced their opinion. You went on with your reading there, Leonard, as the back and forth with you and on your commentary, right?
Yes, sir.
It's right on the money, and Fleur Taylor, our loyal and faithful supporter, says all they have to all in the wait for now to let them open the gates, man. Right? Because everything else is on the table, just to wait for that day, for them open the gate and we are all one. Gates open and we are all one. Smart woman. Very smart woman. She already, right? And in a short summary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me comment a little on the BNTU leadership up here in the West. It really is a damn shame to see that one entity up here in the West stood up,
mm-hmm.
and the rest lapped their little tails, because then they call this one and promise this one, and like they always do. Support me, man, and this will happen. Support me, worry, man. So and so and so will happen. I will help you leave family with a scholarship, or help you with a leave there. I will help you with this, and I pay you light bill. I will help you get elected the next time, and I know support with this same crap, right? But you know what? As a Belizean, and you hear that guy Fonseca says there'll be consequences to this man who stand up, right? Because he shouldn't be do that. He shouldn't be do that, right? So, my hats off to that entity, and they always politics, here it is all because this one is running for office and this one bull crap. Mr. Man, you need to stop that crap, okay? Work no more, right? Now listen, and shame. I say this publicly. I'm ashamed of the other educators out there who cave in to this unlawful act. Gregory says that our country is under attack from our very own leaders, right? They are like piranhas.
Where do you know, Gregory?
They are like piranhas, right? So, I say this to say that all I could say that we are under attack from within. Our history has been attacked. Our constitution has been attacked. And our lives have been attacked from our daily living, our daily movement, our daily way of life have been attacked. Right? So you talk about we have rights. We don't have no rights anymore.
Mr. Weird, it's not as bad as it's going to get, sir. It's not as bad yet as it's going to get.
I've always said, guys, that the worst is yet to come.
And it's coming. It's coming.
Me, guys, and I hope, I pray to the Almighty that we are around.
We are beyond the point now, Mr. Weird.
To see our, what we talk about come to light.
Trying to go at 35, but today at 37 now.
I'll close off to say that, you know, we'll continue to call them out, and I want to always thank our viewers and our supporters for always supporting us, and Almighty to give us the courage to continue to do what we do. Right?
We'd like to invite our viewers back on Wednesday to hear the rest of for the continuation of this discussion, because it hasn't been thoroughly fleshed out yet, you know.
Mr. Weir and Mr. Brackett, thank you guys. Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you, Mr. Weir. When you have a government in denial, people need to read and read up, especially when you hear the great United States of America is saying COVID is on the rise. And when you look, they come out with a different vaccine. And you at home, and you see this same vaccine that they are going to issue out over there here in Belize, but your government is not saying nothing, you better be careful, because I will say this. Another attack of COVID in Belize, and reality will surely hit at home. I don't think we are ready or prepared.
Don't forget the way they are using our children too, okay? They are beginning to use our children.
Well, you know what's so funny about that? And let me say this real quick before we close. Yes, Mr. Brackett.
We didn't acknowledge any other people, but we actually run out of time. Almost 10 minutes ago. You know?
Let me say this real quick before we close. Mr. Wade, you said something there, and I will answer that for you again. They are using the school children as Guatemala use theirs in there. From they are young in school, they are being taught Belize is the Guatemala. Now you see what is happening. Our school kids are parading on Guatemala's Independence Day. What type of logic is that?
I lived there 7 years. 7 years, they pumped that into my head at school. 7 long years, they pumped that into my head.
But again, gentlemen, thanks for sitting virtually with me as my co-host. Good night to the Belizean people at home and abroad. I thank you for tuning in to this or for the first edition of Belizean Affair. Hopefully, we have educated you on some of our topics that has to do with our beautiful jewel of Belize. And again, we will ask you to tune in on Wednesdays and Fridays when we are back to deal with more Belizean affairs. With that, I will say good night.
Good night.